Good morning. Here we are, another day, another meditation. I hope you had a good night's sleep and are feeling raring to go for the rest of the day. So this morning when I woke up, it was dull and wet, as it has been for about 2 weeks now. So I'm hoping that soon the sun is going to come back out, because it's definitely autumnal outside my window, and the strong winds we've been having have meant that a lot of the leaves are prematurely coming off the trees, which isn't great, but at least you're not in Louisiana where they've got a hurricane, I guess. We talk about our weather becoming more extreme, but there are some parts of the world where the weather is already pretty extreme. And I can't even begin to imagine what it's like living in a place where a real hurricane, might come along. So this morning's meditation is just going to be really simple. It's going to be breathing focused, because, as I keep reminding you, one of the quickest and easiest ways that you can calm down is to pay attention to your breathing. And the more we practice it, the more we can automatically do it when we have a stressful moment, we get upset, panicked, something happens to us, and we need to really ground ourselves and bring ourselves back into our bodies. And breathing is exactly how we can do that. And when we breathe slowly and deeply, we do actually start to switch off that stress response in our body. It's there in our physiology. Our body systems are designed to work quickly to take ourselves into that fight, flight, or freeze situation with the adrenaline pumping. And just as quickly, when we just slow down, when we breathe slowly, pay attention to our breathing, our body can take us back into that relaxed state just as quickly. Because we're not supposed to be in that fight or flight mode for very long. For a few minutes, a couple of hours, not for days, months, years, which many people who live in stressful situations do find themselves in that switched on, ready to run type of physiological space. And it takes a toll on your physical health eventually. So we are going to practice that this morning, so that if you ever need it, you automatically go into this method. So as always, we start by making ourselves physically comfortable. And of course, if you do find yourself in a stressful situation, you may not be able to lie down or sit in a comfortable position. But because you practice this over and over again, you'll be able to do this when you're walking down the street, when you're standing on a busy train, whatever situation you're in, when you find the need to just calm down. So if you're sitting in a chair, uncross your arms and legs, put your feet flat on the floor, and sit up nice and straight so that you can really breathe in and out unhindered. Just have your hands resting gently in your lap, either with your palms upwards or your palms downwards, it doesn't matter. But just make sure that you place your hands so that there isn't any strain and tension running up your arms into your shoulders. If you're sitting on the floor, you can have your legs crossed, but you might find it easier to have your back up against a wall or a sturdy piece of furniture, because that'll help you to keep your back up straight. And if you're lying down, lying on your back in a straight line is the best way to give your rib cage the most space to expand and contract. And that sometimes puts a bit of a strain on your lower back. So you can try bending your knees and having your feet flat on the floor, or just putting a cushion or a pillow under your knees. That also will take some of the strain off. And once you've got your body sorted out into a comfortable position, Then you can close your eyes or lower your gaze to your lap, and then turn your attention to your breathing. Now, I would like you to breathe in and out through your nose, but there may be many reasons why you can't do that today. Allergies, cold, whatever. So in that case, breathe through your mouth. And you're going to make your breathing slower and deeper than it usually is. But again, only whatever's comfortable for you today. You don't have to force it. And some days we can breathe more deeply than others, and that's okay. And each time you breathe out, you'll feel your shoulders relaxing more and more. And each time you breathe out, you'll feel that tension, that stress, that anxiety lifting from you more and more. And each time you breathe out, you can let go of those random or troublesome thoughts that pop into your head for no apparent reason. Just let them drift away as you breathe out. And each time you breathe in, you feel more calm. Each time you breathe in, you feel more peaceful. And each time you breathe in, you feel more relaxed. And by now, you should have noticed that each time you breathe in, your tummy rises to make more space in your torso for your lungs to fully expand. And each time you breathe out, your tummy falls back as you squeeze all that stale old air out of your lungs. And this is also the indication that you are breathing in a more natural, more effective way than perhaps you usually do. Because the poor posture that we have due to our lifestyles means that we, as adults, don't breathe in a very effective way. And now, if you prefer it and you find it easy, you can now just continue to breathe in this slow, steady way, paying attention to the rise and fall of your tummy as you breathe in and out. But many people find it less easy to be distracted like this. So one of the methods that you can use to keep yourself focused is counting. And there are many ways of counting with the breathing, and I'm going to talk you through a couple. And you may find that one of them works best for you. And with all these meditation techniques, when you find something that works for you, that's the thing to stick with, because you're more likely to practice that than something you find difficult. So just to start off with, very simply, as you breathe in, count to 4. And of course, how slowly or quickly you count to 4, depends on how slowly you're breathing. And then as you breathe out, count for 4 again. Now, if you find that very easy, then just increase the count to 5 or 6. It's up to you. Now, because you're paying a lot of attention to your breath, you may notice that it feels like you could count for longer as you breathe out. So you could have a little play with that. Perhaps breathe in for 4 and out for 6. Or breathe in for 6 and out for 8. Now you may find a combination of numbers that works really well for you, or you might like to try one that's easy to remember. So years ago in the UK, there used to be corner shops called 7-Elevens. They still exist in the States and Japan, but I don't think they exist in the UK anymore. But 7-Eleven is a counting option that works for a lot of people. Now remember, if 7-Eleven sounds like too many, you can count slightly faster. So you breathe in for 7 and out for 11. And just try a few rounds of that, maybe adjusting the speed of your counting. But the idea being that that combination of numbers is catchy and easy to remember. And then there's one final technique with the breathing that I want you to try. And this is about observing the gap between the in and out breath. So you can do this with your counting. So if you're counting, you can continue to count. But just as you come to the end of the in-breath, I want you to pause for a very small moment and notice the gap. You may even be able to count in there, maybe for 1 or 2, and then breathe out. And then at the same thing, at the end of the out breath, there's a little gap before you breathe in again. You may be able to count 1 or 2 in there before you continue with the breath. And this is about taking your focus to one point, and the point where you switch from breathing in to breathing out, from breathing out to breathing in, just one point in time. That one point where you take your focus. And so you can experiment with these breathing techniques to find one that really works for you. And so now I want you to feel your feet very firmly on the floor or the bed. Feel that connection from the soles of your feet through to the ground. And start to feel your body against the chair or the floor or the bed. Start to feel your clothes brushing, resting on your skin. And then when you're ready, just slowly open your eyes and bring your attention back to the room. And so there we are, just breathe. The easiest way to help you to calm down. Don't need any equipment, any fancy mantras, any elaborate visualizations. Just pay attention to your breathing. So there we are. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another morning meditation. Have a great day, whatever you're up to, and I hope to see some of you very soon.